Hi, and welcome to Mark 1 Sailing. I'm Mark, and today we're going to talk about what to do after a capsize. In my last video, we analyzed how and why we capsized. In this one, I want to show you what we did after capsizing, what our priorities were, and how we recovered from our capsized state. The most important things to look for after a capsize are your fellow sailors. Is anyone hurt or missing? How far are they away? Are they moving? And are they coming back to the boat? If everyone is fine, the next thing to do is look after your boat. Some boats have flotation devices on top of the mast. This means the tip of the mast will swim and your boat won't be able to go full on turtle. Recovering from that turtle state alone without help isn't fun, I'd expect. That's why our second priority was to stop the mast from burying itself in the mud. You can't see it here, but the lake isn't especially deep, and we can stand, so turning turtle isn't something to worry about. But M still swam to the masthead to keep it afloat. In the meantime, I climbed onto the lower hull and loosened the main sheet. This is crucial. If you forget this step, you may be able to recover from the capsize, but it will be much harder. Furthermore, if there's a bit of wind, you will just capsize all over again. After loosening the main sheet, I readied a line. I had prepared it beforehand in case of a capsize, and it was tied to the catamaran near the mast. I threw it over the top hull and tried leaning outward. Standing up the boat alone was not gonna happen though. I quickly realized that the line I had chosen for recovering from the capsize was suboptimal at the very least. It was rather thin and cut into my hands. M later took the line and tied it around his trapeze belt, which is a very good idea in that situation. Before that, however, Jay came to help me and tried to tie the traveler line to the boat and use that to help me. He had the same problem as me, however. The line was rather thin as well. Even both of us leaning backward didn't stand the catamaran back up. With both of us on the lower hull, with a line over the top hull, the mast wasn't in danger of digging itself into the mud anymore, so M joined us on the hull. I prepared the jib line to use as well, and as it was much thicker, it helped a lot. As I mentioned before, M tied the thinner line around his trapeze belt, and with 3 people leaning backwards, the cat stood up without a problem. Now the next thing to worry about is not getting hit over the head by the boat. M and J had to duck away, and I managed to get hold of the lower mast as the boat stood up again. Now as you can see, the catamaran was gathering speed already here, and M and especially J are having problems climbing back on. That's why you should always try to get a grip on the boat whilst recovering from the capsize. After putting everything back to right, the next step is damage control. Is everyone alright? Is the equipment still here? Is it damaged? We soon found out that our paddles were missing and our mainsail traveler was bent. We tried searching for the paddles, but didn't find them anymore. The traveler wasn't really usable for the rest of the day, but it was an easy fix later. As M and I had a wetsuit, the water and the temperature didn't affect us as bad, but Jay didn't have the proper gear and had to cram out a second pair of pants and a jacket out of our duffel bag. He was really shivering before that, so I have to recommend bringing appropriate gear on your sailing adventures at this point. So, we managed to recover from the capsize relatively easily. Now for anyone who wants to prepare for the worst, here come 3 important things when preparing for an eventual capsize. Firstly, prepare a thick line that is tied to a secure point of the boat that one only has to unfurl in case of a capsize. Make sure the line is thick enough to grab hold of easily, and that it is secured to the boat on a spot you can reach while capsized. Number 2, make sure there are enough people on board to set your boat to right. In our case, we were sailing our 20-foot Hobie Cat Miracle, and 3 people were more than enough to recover from the capsize. It would have been manageable by 2 people, but one person is not enough to stand the boat back up. Here I have to say that sailing our catamaran single-handed isn't a problem, so have that in the back of your mind when solo sailing. Number 3. Wear some sort of flotation device. I know we weren't the best role models, as only one of us was wearing a life jacket, but Em and I were wearing thick wetsuits which keep you afloat even if you're unconscious. They don't, however, keep you afloat with your head over water, so keep that in mind as well. I hope you learned something in this video. In the next one, we will either talk about a few repairs to easily do yourself on sport sailing boats, or we will talk about need-to-know knots on these types of boat. Thanks for watching, and in the meantime, fair winds to you.